Think all overpowered Isekai heroes are generic cardboard cutouts? Think again. Today we explore 10 ridiculously strong protagonists dominating alternate worlds in underrated anime masterpieces. Kicking off our list at number 10, the saga of Tanya the Evil. A ruthless Japanese salaryman is murdered and reincarnated by a mysterious divine entity into an alternate magical reality resembling war-torn Europe. Now a young orphan girl named Tanya, he uses supreme magical aptitude and past life tactical knowledge to violently climb military ranks and survive a brutal global conflict. This show aggressively shatters the typical fantasy mold by blending gritty warfare with intense philosophical debates about faith and survival. Tanya is an absolutely terrifying anti-hero who commands the screen through pure malicious charisma. The spectacular aerial dogfights and dark psychological themes make this a remarkably gripping experience that far too many seasonal anime fans unfortunately overlooked during its release. Moving down the rankings to number 9, Knights and Magic. An obsessed mecha otaku dies in a car crash and awakens as Ernesti Echevalier in a realm where massive robotic knights battle dangerous beasts. Combining his intense passion for engineering with an overwhelming talent for magic, he revolutionizes the kingdom by designing and piloting the most advanced combat mechs imaginable. Watching a giant robot nerd live out his absolute wildest dreams is incredibly infectious and deeply satisfying. The animation studio delivers phenomenal mechanical designs alongside fluid CGI combat sequences that feel incredibly weighty. It totally ignores any unnecessary melodrama to focus entirely on pure technological progression and visually stunning action sequences that keep you thoroughly entertained from beginning to end. Sliding into the next spot at number 8, In Another World with My Smartphone. After a careless mistake by God results in his accidental death, Tuya Mochizuki is resurrected into a fantasy realm with boosted physical abilities and his trusty smartphone. Connected directly to the Divine Network, he effortlessly conquers dungeons, discovers ancient ruins, and aids various kingdoms while gathering a loyal adventuring party. Critics frequently dismiss this as generic fluff, but that completely misses the fundamental appeal of such unabashedly comfortable escapism. It boldly embraces ultimate power fantasy tropes without ever taking itself too seriously. The sheer absurdity of solving medieval political crises using modern internet mapping applications brings an undeniable comedic charm that makes it incredibly easy to binge watch completely guiltless. Making a dramatic entrance at number 7, How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. A socially awkward gamer, Takuma Sakamoto gets magically transported into his favorite video game universe, inhabiting the body of his massively overpowered character Diablo. Summoned simultaneously by two desperate girls seeking a familiar, his overwhelming magic accidentally binds them to him instead, forcing him to act like a villainous tyrant. Beneath the mountain of blatant fan service lies a surprisingly competent fantasy adventure packed with explosive magical battles. Diablo is incredibly endearing because his intimidating demonic persona perfectly contrasts with his crippling internal anxiety. The studio masterfully animates the destructive spellcasting while ensuring the hilarious character dynamics never lose their momentum throughout this thoroughly entertaining magical romp full of comedic misunderstandings. Securing its position at number 6, Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody. Exhausted game programmer Ichiro Suzuki naps under his desk and wakes up inside the fantasy RPG he was developing. After unleashing a devastating meteor spell that massacres an entire army of monsters, his level skyrockets instantly, turning him into a disguised demigod, exploring a vast world masking dark political conspiracies. What truly distinguishes this series is its incredibly relaxing execution of the overpowered protagonist trope. Instead of engaging in endless edgy conflicts, the hero acts as a pragmatic tourist, enjoying local cuisine and expanding his crafting skills. The beautifully detailed environments and meticulous world building create a deeply immersive experience that provides the perfect therapeutic escape after a remarkably stressful day. Breaking into our top 5 at number 5, The Master of Ragnarok and Blesser of Einherjar. Yuto Suo photographs an urban legend mirror and suddenly falls into Yggdrasil, a mythological realm rooted in ancient Norse lore. Utilizing his solar-powered smartphone as a digital encyclopedia, He brings futuristic military tactics and advanced metallurgical knowledge to a struggling wolf clan, establishing himself as their unstoppable supreme patriarch. It represents the absolute pinnacle of strategic domination within an incredibly saturated genre. Rather than merely throwing giant fireballs, the protagonist conquers rival nations utilizing superior logistics, phalanx formations, and economic manipulation. That distinct historical warfare approach is brilliantly refreshing and elevates the political drama well beyond the typical magical brawls seen in nearly every other modern fantasy anime release. Dominating the competition at number 4, Overlord 2. The great skeletal sorcerer Ain's Ual Gown continues expanding his terrifying influence across the New World. This second season significantly broadens the universe by shifting focus toward the lizardmen tribes and human kingdoms. Ains deploys his fiercely loyal demonic guardians to strategically gather intelligence, conquer territories, and mercilessly crush opposition. While the first season established absolute supremacy, this spectacular continuation crafts a breathtakingly intricate web of political intrigue. Exploring the perspective of the doomed natives desperately resisting an invincible evil entity is an absolute masterstroke of storytelling. The animation effectively conveys pure dread, proving precisely why Ains remains the undisputed king of dark fantasy villains in the modern anime landscape. Marching firmly into the top 3 at number 3, Gate. When a mysterious magical portal opens in central Tokyo, invading fantasy armies slaughter thousands of civilians. The modern Japanese military swiftly retaliates, pushing through the gate to establish a fortified base in a realm of dragons and elves. Otaku soldier Yuji Itami leads a recon team exploring this dangerous frontier. The sheer satisfaction of watching modern artillery utterly annihilate arrogant medieval knights and legendary beasts is undeniably exhilarating. The clash between science and magic is portrayed with stunning military accuracy and explosive animation. It seamlessly balances geopolitics, cultural exchanges, and gorgeous fantasy elements into a genuinely intelligent narrative that completely redefines what an overpowered protagonist can truly be on screen. Claiming the runner-up spot at number 2, That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime-Murdered Corporate Worker. Satoru Mikami awakens in a vibrant magical dimension as a seemingly pathetic blue slime monster. Gifted with a unique predatory skill, allowing him to absorb anything and steal its abilities, he quickly devours a legendary storm dragon, gaining catastrophic magical power and starting a massive monster civilization. Rimuru Tempest is undeniably one of the most delightfully charming, overpowered heroes ever written. The vibrant studio animation brings this incredible city-building simulator to life with brilliant colors and breathtakingly fluid combat choreography. It effortlessly blends intense political world-building with immense lighthearted optimism, creating an absolute masterpiece that redefines fantasy community dynamics through sheer charisma and overwhelmingly destructive spells. And finally, reigning supreme at number 1, Isekai Izakaya, Japanese food from another world. An ordinary traditional Japanese pub suddenly connects its front door to Iteria, a parallel fantasy city resembling medieval Europe. The incredibly skilled chef Nobuyuki and his cheerful waitress Shinobu serve astonishingly delicious modern culinary dishes to weary palace guards, wealthy merchants, and noble knights who have never tasted such perfection. Who says extreme power must involve magic swords or lethal spells? Here, the main character is incredibly overpowered through sheer culinary mastery. Watching rough medieval warriors literally cry tears of absolute joy over cold beer and fried chicken is endlessly entertaining. The cozy atmosphere and gorgeous food animation make this an incredibly heartwarming masterpiece that perfectly subverts the entire genre. These phenomenal protagonists prove that wielding ridiculous power creates endlessly captivating television when placed in truly fascinating alternate worlds. Did we miss a brutally strong hero who deserves recognition? Drop your absolute favorite overpowered alternate reality conquerors down in the comments below to debate the rankings.